Hey everybody, Patty Ann here again. Welcome. Today I'm going to show you another card that you can make that's super duper cute, and you do not need to have any stamps to make it. It's a print then cut, this part down here. Obviously up here I used a Cuttlebug, and I also used a Cuttlebug for these designs right here. Now, if you're a member of our Silhouette group on Patreon, you're in our secret Facebook group, and Nancy there shared a person who had this card like this for free on her website. So I thought, well, I'm going to try to make it without a stamp and using my Cuttlebug and see how well I can do. And I think it really turned out super duper cute. I love it a lot. The only problem I had was I used leather from my Jean Frida experiments or challenges, my weekly challenge that Jean Frida, my sister, sends to me, and that I do every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I open the latest Jean Frida challenge and I try to figure out what she wants me to make using her inspiration piece, and I try to create it right then and there live. So again, it's Wednesdays at 1 o'clock on YouTube, and I hope to see you there as well. But anyway, for one of the projects, Jean Frida had sent this leather lace. So I thought I would use the leather lace on these ornaments, and I did have a hard time getting it down here on my card nicely. I don't think I would recommend using this leather lace for this. It'd probably be much better if I used a flat ribbon and was able to use some kind of double stick tape or something like that to tape it down. Okay, right before we go up to my Silhouette Studio software, I did want to make sure that I was holding this in a way that you could see it. I know there's a shine that comes off of these because they are made out of foil, aluminum foil, yep, from my kitchen. So join me up there and let's get busy, and I'll show you how to make this. Okay, here we are in my Silhouette Business Edition software, which I use for my Cameo machine and my Cricut machine. And if I still had a scan and cut, I could use it for it as well. But anyway, today I'm going to use it with my Cameo. This was my inspiration piece right here. And as you can see, it was a card just like the one that I had made. I'm not sure if these are actual metal pieces here, but I made mine out of aluminum foil, which I embossed with my Cuttlebug. And I did this embossing behind it with my Cuttlebug as well. All right, so ignore all of this stuff on my screen. I did want to show you this, that when I do go ahead and make some print and cuts, a lot of times I want to make sure that I don't waste the space. If I'm using a full sheet of cardstock, I just go ahead and make sentiments so that I can use these for other things. And the Howdy Friend and the High Sunshine, those are some sentiments that I've made for some cards that I'm making to give away to charity. So, and if you're in our Silhouette Business Edition group on Facebook, our Patreon class, you'll know all about this, and I'm sure that a lot of you were involved in making the cards for our project. So let's get rid of this or move it out of the way. I don't want to get rid of it quite yet. So let's look at our inspiration piece here. This is a card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the card piece that's going to be the right size as if this was the card folded in half. So if I take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and fold it or cut it in half, I get two cards out of it. One card's front will measure 4.25, 4.25 by 5.5. So that's what I have right here. This is like the front of my card. Okay. And then the next thing that I did was I wanted to have a black piece that came next. So let's get rid of this piece for right now though. And what I did was I took this piece right here that's my card front, hold down my Alt key and dragged another one. This is the piece I'm going to have for my black piece. Before I use it for my black piece, however, I'm going to make it smaller. So one way I can do that is just by coming over here to the offset panel, and I'm going to do an offset, an internal offset. See how it's going inside, internal? And I'm going to make it a 1/2 of an inch offset. So I'm going to make it a 1/4 of an inch. So 0.25 and hit enter. All right, so that's basically going to be a 1/2 inch because it's a 1/4 inch on this side, 1/4 inch on that side, and that's what I want. So I'm going to grab both of these and highlight them, and I'm going to come over here to the modify panel, and I'm going to say crop. So that leaves me with just the middle part, which is what I want, and I'm going to color it black. So I highlight it and then come up here to the color swatch and make it black. And that's exactly what I want. So this is the card. This is my first inner piece, and the next inner piece is going to be inside of this one. So what I'm going to do is hold down my Alt key, drag this one off, and I'm going to come over here to the offset panel, internal offset again. And I think on my sample I didn't do it that much, but I think I'm going to change this up a little bit because I'm going to make it have a larger offset of 1/4 inch on all sides now again. So again, I can't really see that, but I can grab both of these things and I can come over here to the modify panel and say crop. And I'm left with the smaller piece now. This is the piece that's going to be white. So far this is what we have. We have the card, we have a black piece, and then the white piece on top of that. And that's what I want. This is the piece that's going to have the text on it, and it's also going to be the piece that I'm going to run through my Cuttlebug. So I can move these out of the way and bring this to the front. Okay. Now, these two little ornaments are similar to that. Well, actually, let me show you where I got these. I get a lot of my things from the Silhouette store, whether I'm using it for my Cricut machine or my Cameo. So I go to the store, and actually what I typed in when I came to this place, I typed in Christmas baubles, and you're going to see that I already own the one. There we go. See, it says I own this one. That's not the one I'm going to use. This is the one I'm going to use. It says I own it. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. By the way, these things are all half price right now, so you ought to grab them if you like them because they're half price. And I do need to show you something though. Say I was going to get this one for my Cricut machine. For my Cricut machine, I have to have the SVG. Notice it's not checked right here. If I want to use any of these files, like this gorgeous butterfly right here, I would have to save this as an SVG file. Not just save it, but purchase it as an SVG file here. Notice what that does to the price. If I'm just using it in my Silhouette for my Cameo, I can just use the studio file. But if I'm going to use it in my Cricut, I must buy the SVG version of it. Notice it added 24 cents to it. Big whoop. No big deal. So, anyway, let's see. And by the way, if by chance you forget to do that and you try to use it in Cricut, you can always come back and all they'll charge you is the extra amount that you hadn't paid. So in that case, it would have been like 24 cents. I would have had to pay extra. All right, so let's go back. Here we are, and I'll open the one that I have. Let's see, file. I'm going to merge it into this project just so you can see it. Yeah, this is it, I think. Yes. Okay. So this is the way that one comes in. No color or anything whatsoever, but that's fine. Just what we need. Notice it comes in as different pieces too that we can use. But I'm not going to be using these for right now. So I'm going to right click and ungroup. And all that I'm going to save is this one right here. Oh, I'm going to save the top too. The top, one of these tops. Let me get this one. Bring it over here for now. Okay, the rest of this stuff, the rest of these pieces I'm going to delete for right now. It's not going to be like totally gone. They'll still be saved. And then I'm going to put these two pieces together like that. And I'm going to center them, make sure it's centered. So I'm going to come up here to the top, right here, center it like that. Perfect. Then I'm going to right click and say weld. Very good. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I do not want all this design right here because I'm just going to have a flat ornament, and I'm going to use my embossing tool, my Cuttlebug, or whatever kind of embossing tool you might have to emboss this. So I'm going to come up here to Object, Release Compound Path, and I'm going to change its color to this gray. All right, so there we go. And then I'm going to go to right click on it and weld. All right, so that makes it into one piece just like this. Now I did notice when I was doing this that I had a problem using the foil and having this extra little round boop up here. So I just decided to get rid of it by using my knife tool. Come over here and get the knife tool. And I'm going to zoom in so I can see clearly what I'm doing. Just get my knife tool, and I'm just going to come right here, hold down my shift key so it's a straight line, and just go straight across here. Once I'm done, I'll double click so it knows I'm done. Get rid of this, click on it to highlight it, right click, and delete. Okay, let's see what we're left with. Let's scroll back out. So that's a perfect looking ornament for my thing. Now, obviously it's way too big because this is my card size that I have to work with. So I'm going to make it a lot smaller. And let's see, I'm going to have 2 of them. So let's see, if I hold down my Alt key, that turns this cursor into a plus sign, which means I can duplicate just like that. And actually, I think I got pretty lucky there. I like the way those fit just like that. So that's really good. So let me delete these 2 that I had originally. And so far, so good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these off of here, and I'm going to focus on this because I want to write the Christmas sentiment on here. So I'm going to get in there quick, or zoom in a bit. Now I have no idea what kind of font this is, so I just used a font I had. I was going to start looking on font.com, but you know, sometimes you can get stuck in that rabbit hole forever and never get anything done. So I decided just to go with whatever I have. So the first thing I did was I came over to the text tool and I typed in the word welcome, and I see that, whoops, that they've used just all lowercase. So I'm going to replicate that. I'm going to change the font, coming over here to the text style panel, and I may just make it Arial. Maybe Courier? No. I think I'll just leave it as Arial. And obviously I'm going to have to make it a lot smaller. Welcome. Then I'm going to say Into Your Heart because that's the same font. I think I've told you before that I like to just use 2 or maybe 3, no, usually 2 fonts per object, unless it's something like Subway art where you like to use a lot of different fonts. But usually I only like to use 2 fonts, at the very most 3. Otherwise it starts getting too jumbly looking, in my opinion. So into, what did I put? Into 2. I guess I was saying the word 2. So I typed the word 2, heart. Into Your Heart. All right. So there we have those 2. And I like to make them the same size font. So I'm going to click on this one to see up here. And I'm just going to make it 17 up here at the very top. Whoopsie, 17. And hit enter on my keyboard. So then I'm going to make this one 17 as well, so they're the same size. Perfect. All right. Next thing I'm going to do, just kind of position these where I'd like them to be. I notice there's a period at the end of this, so maybe I should put a period at the end of mine as well, if I'm trying to copy it. There we go. All right. So now I got to do the word Christmas, and as I said, I love this font, but I don't know what it is. If anybody knows, you can leave a comment down below this video and let us know. The thing I can't find is this little swoosh that goes off the C like that. But again, I don't want to spend all day looking for it, so I'm going to use what I have. So I'm going to come up here to the font text tool again, and I'm going to type in Christmas. And actually, whatever font that is kind of nice. Let's see. Whoops. What font is that? That is Allura, is one that I downloaded from dafont.com, I think. Let's see. October Twilight will be too jazzy. Caviar Dreams is too plain. Let's see. Dream State. Nah, I don't really care for that. You know, one that I like that y'all probably don't have, because, well, Magnolia Sky, I think that's what I used before. But one that I have that you probably do not have because it's not free and it's not cheap. The Samantha Craft is nice, but the one that I was going to use was Samantha Italic because I really like that one. This is the one that's not free, but you probably have something on your computer that you'd like to use. And let's see. Or you'll don't mind looking through dafont.com to find something you like. So I'm pretty happy with the way this looks, actually. Welcome Christmas into your heart. Okay, I like that pretty well, so I'm just going to go ahead and group this all together. And actually, I probably should have welded it first and then group it. You have to do that in this program. All right, welcome Christmas into your heart. And then let me bring over my little ornaments. Did I have two? Yes, I do. And pretty much that's going to be all there is to it. Welcome Christmas into your heart. Okay, yeah, I like that a lot. All right, so this obviously, this text right here will be black. And let's bring the other parts of the card back in behind to see how it's going to look. And just so you can get a good idea of what it's going to look like. And of course, there's going to be these black ribbons or leather or something like that coming down like this. I'll make that, click on it and make it black. There we go, finally, black. I'm going to hold down my Alt key and drag another one over. And another one over this way. I need to make this one longer, obviously. Okay, so now I'm just going to click on the ornament and bring it to the front. And bring this one to the front. Okay, so the only thing now that I have to do, and actually on the one I made, they made theirs like this, but on the one I made, I decided to make this other ornament come down longer. I kind of thought I liked it better long like that. So that means I'd have to make this longer, like that. Skinny it up, and make sure it's in the center. Okay, that looks pretty good like that, although they're different now. This one's a little fatter. This line is. Make it a little skinnier. Okay, so that's the way it's going to be, just like that. Other than I'm going to have embossing up here on the top, and these are going to be embossed as well. So I'll bring you down here to my desktop and show you how I go about getting the foil ready for the embossing of the ornaments. Okay, here are two ornaments that I already have ready to go. And to do these, what I do is I take a piece of this Reynolds wrap, the heavy duty Reynolds wrap. And I cut a piece about, what is this, maybe like 4 inches wide, something like that. And then I just take it and kind of flatten it out. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be really, really careful about all the wrinkles, just a little bit careful. Fold it in half like this. So what you're going to want to have, there's something I need maybe. You're going to want to have it 4 thick. Okay, just like this. At least for this project, that's all I found that I needed it to be, was 4 thick. So then what I did was I just trimmed off the edges so that they were neat and I could tell where there were 4 layers all together. Perfect, just like that. Except for this part right here. Skinny that up a little bit. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just put this through my Cuttlebug. So here's my Cuttlebug here. And what I'm going to do is I'm using one that's paisley actually. I don't have anything that's perfect for this, but that worked out fine, I thought. So I'm going to use it again for this set. Let's put this in here anywhere. I just kind of willy-nilly put it in here. I don't really know how to I'll fix it so it's going to be exactly where I want it to be if there is such a place. Let me send it through here. Let's make sure that it's all the way in the middle of my plate. There we go. Alrighty. And then just roll it through. Bring it out. Close up my Cuttlebug. Put him over here out of the way for right now. And look how beautifully that turns out. I hope you can see it. It's not too shiny that it doesn't show up. It's really pretty. So the next thing that I would do is I would put this onto my mat, which I still have some of those sentiments that I had done on the last one on my mat. So let me take these off, and you can see how nice these are. I'd be able to put them on a piece of black cardstock and cut around them and have a nice sentiment that I can put on anywhere, any card, anything. That's what I like to do when I have extra area for my print then cut. I just put the sentiments on a square or a rectangle and print them out and then have them be cut. So now, to put this in my Cameo to cut it, put it up at the top like this. And I found this doesn't stick very well to my mat. Maybe it's because my mat's a little bit older. So I used some masking tape to tape it down on the edges to hold it in place. Keep using the same masking tape over and over. I have it stuck to the side of my table over there. Okay, there we go. And then I would just put this right through my machine. I have my machine set on. Now this will be something you'll have to test for your own machine. But I have mine set on for my card. What did I have it set on? I think I forgot to write it down, y'all, so I'll look for it and see if I can put it in the comments below the video. So I would cut that out, and then the next thing that I did was I cut out this onto which these guys are going to go. So one will go here, and one will go here a little lower. And then the only other thing that I did was I got this cord, as I said, and I glued that onto here. So then what we ended up with is this, because there's the black cardstock that we cut, and I just cut that with my regular cutter. Here's this white piece. Oh, and before I glue these on here, y'all, that's right, I wanted to use my Cuttlebug to add some more texture up here. So to do that, all I do is get my Cuttlebug back out, and this time I use the Swiss dots, which are my absolute favorite. I just want them at the top. I don't want them down here on the text. So I just put half of this card, half of this piece into here, just like that. And then I put this between the plates. So hopefully you can see. Let me move my Cuttlebug over for a sec. Put this in the plates, between the plates. So I have the plate A, plate B, this, because I only want the top part to get the Swiss dots, and then this. And then I'm going to put this through my Cuttlebug. Start it through. Once it's all the way through, just pull it on out. And you can see how beautifully that worked. Hopefully. Maybe you can see the little dots on there. But again, all I would do now is to put this on. Let's pretend like this is my black piece. This is something I had done before with vinyl. Let's pretend like this is my black cardstock here. I guess that's not going to show very well. But anyway, then I would put these on here with my ribbon. And then all of this onto the white card. So again, it would totally end up looking like this. The white card, the black cardstock, the white cardstock onto which I've printed my sentiment, and then I've glued on with hot glue. I used these, and I put hot glue on the leather strips as well. I probably would use that. Somebody in our group recommended that red, really sticky double stick tape on the back of ribbon. Put that on here, and that would be perfect. And I actually could drag it all the way to the back of this, and you wouldn't see it. So that's it. I hope you liked this video. I'm loving finding ways to use our Cuttlebugs or our Cameos or Cricut machines to make gorgeous cards without having to purchase a bunch of rubber stamps or a bunch of ink pads or anything like that. So if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up. Go check us out over on Patreon. We have a blast over there every Saturday morning. It's kind of like a little club. You get to know everybody. We have a good time and we learn a lot. Also, join us on our Facebook group. And be sure to subscribe here, hit the bell. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock for my weekly challenge from my sister, Jean Frieda. I know what's coming tomorrow. It's a pillow. But that's pretty much all I know. So I hope you'll join me then. Bye-bye.